Good afternoon, my friends. I would like to address a very common question I get in coaching for folks using neuroplasticity to rewire their brains and recover from chronic illness, which is, how do I recognize when I'm having a thought or emotion or behavior that's part of a trauma loop, and how do I redirect it? And this could vary depending on which program you've done, but DNRS is the one that I know I took and a lot of people take, and they call them pathways of the past. And it's this idea of redirecting these pops. How do we do that? What does that look like? And it's a core practice for anyone using this process anyone using neuroplasticity. It doesn't matter if you took DNRS or not. Most of the brain rewiring that happens in your process happens in this redirection process. And yet it's something that is so slippery and elusive for so many people. So I'm going to give you today 3 R's: recognize, reconnect, and redirect from connection. That's going to be the little process of to give you some structure to how do I do this? What does it mean? And as well as how do I know what's a limbic thought or a limbic urge or a limbic emotion versus one that's my authentic self? That's another really big question people have. So one of the biggest rules of thumb in terms of, is this me or is this a limbic trauma loop, part of a loop, is when you follow it, do you get kind of wound up in a tighter knot? Do you get more into stress chemistry, feeling more negative emotions, more fear, more despair, more confusion, more overwhelm? Or when you allow that thought or allow that emotion or follow that urge, do you feel a sense of release? Do you feel a lightening and a sense of relief coming over you, even if it's not pleasant in the moment? If it's the first one, it's part of a trauma loop. If it's the second one, that's you. That is your urge, your thought, your emotion, and it's your authentic response to life if it leads to relaxation. That's one of the easiest ways to discern. And when we're really activated, through a lot of this process, if your predominant state is still pretty strongly in stress chemistry, any thought that creates a negative emotion or comes from a negative emotion is part of a trauma loop. It's pretty, a lot of times, most to all of your thoughts can just be a trauma loop when you're in this state. So that's how you define what's what here on a basic level. And to break down those 3 R's, the first one is recognize. Recognize what's happening when it's happening. Recognize, oh, I'm fortune telling. I'm telling myself, oh, if I do this activity, that means I'm going to have this symptom. And and then we're trying to prepare for it. And then the behaviors follow, and the fear or the despair or the resignation or whatever it is, the frustration, the anger follows that fortune telling. That's recognizing, oh, you step away and there's a disconnect. There's a separation from it. That's so key, because you are not your hardware. And this thought is not your thought as a human being. It's your limbic system. Your amygdala is overstimulated, overactivated. You're in stress chemistry, and your brain is trying to create safety through predictability. Let's predict the future. Say, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. Now I can prepare for it. Now I'm safe. But that's part of the loop that actually perpetuates the symptoms, because it generates all that fear, which gets us activated, and the stress chemistry is what's creating the symptoms to begin with. So that's the recognize. And that goes for so many. I know DNRS in particular has a list, it's not comprehensive, of common patterns like this. There are so many. I know I talk about them a lot on here, and I will be working on creating a more comprehensive list of all the different patterns that are most common. But again, if it goes towards anything negative, you can know that it's limbic based. It's an overactive limbic system. That's it. So you've recognized it. A couple of other helpful basic ones are labeling your symptoms by the nervous system state that they're associated with. So if you're experiencing anxiety, saying, oh, that's a flight response. If you're experiencing fatigue or brain fog or overwhelm, this is a freeze response. And then all of a sudden, you are not inside of this alternate reality. You're like, oh, I can take the hat off and be like, oh, that's my limbic system. That's what this is. And I can do something about that. I have the power to change my brain state depending on my focus and my intention and my attention. So that's the recognition, and then the reconnection. The recognition is, okay, this is definitely not me. This is part of a trauma loop. The reconnection is reconnecting with that bigger picture, with the science, of, oh, if it's coming from or leading to a negative emotion, it's part of the problem. It's keeping me in stress chemistry. It's keeping the stress switch on in my brain. This is an unhelpful thing that's actually perpetuating the symptoms and the problem and the situation I'm in. So that's the recognition, or again, recognition, I'm in freeze, I'm in fight or flight, whatever it is. You're recognizing that, you're connecting with the science, you're reconnecting with this is the reality of what's going on. And part of it is then at that point you'd have, again, DNRS calls these opposites. I will also I'm working on, thanks to a lot of requests, I will be working on creating a program of my own. I've just got enough requests over time. So I will create as comprehensive of a list I can of the kind of counter truths to these messages that are coming. But something like fortune telling, trying to create the future, predict it based on the past, it creates a false sense of safety through predictability. But we want to remind ourselves that safety only exists in the present moment, because you only exist in the present moment. You don't exist anywhere else. And you're creating your brain state with your current attention and intention. And that's going to create your future brain state and your future chemical state, which is going to create your level of groundedness and brain function and physical function, and therefore safety. So we have this connection with, okay, here's what's really going on. Now, here's the truth. We're having body checking. The brain's like, oh, what about this sensation? What about that sensation? All sensations are safe to experience. It's just a sensation. You're looking for the tiger in the body because we're in stress chemistry. Your brain's like, oh, there's got to be a threat somewhere. I'm in the state of danger. Where is it? Oh, look at that sensation. It's that one. It's that one. It's this experience. It's that emotion. It's dangerous. It's scary. It's this smell. It's that visual input. It's this sense of pain. It's that food. It's whatever. Looking for, oh, when I'm feeling a symptom, well, what did I do? What did I do? It wasn't anything I did. It's just my limbic system. It's just a cross-wired association to something. My brain's in a chronic state of threat, fight or flight, freeze, stress chemistry. It's just it's trying to help me identify what the problem is. So you reconnect with that bigger picture science of it, and then you redirect. The last step is redirecting. That's the point at which you're redirecting from connection. So you're connecting with the higher truth. You're connecting with yourself and your limbic system and saying, I know what's happening. I see what's happening. This is a false message, and I do not need to act on it. I don't need to go down the rabbit hole. It's not keeping me safe. It's not protecting me from anything that's dangerous. Everything's fine. All I can recognize that I truly need in this moment is relaxation chemistry, is dose chemistry, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Because if we're in fight or flight or freeze, that amygdala is overactivated, relaxation chemistry is what's going to calm the brain, calm the amygdala, bring us back to a place where we feel safe, because we already are. It's just a brain state situation. That's the only problem, is just the chemical state we're in, problem. And the answer is dose, the antidote's dose. So from that place, you redirect, but we're coming from a place of connection, both to, hey, Limby, I see that you're trying to protect me. Thank you. And, oh, here's the reality. Here's the science of what's going on. So I've got you by the hand and I've got the science by the other hand. Now we're going to go, and what we need is some happiness or some calm or some peace. We need to go outside and notice everything beautiful. We need to put on a relaxing song and follow the beat and the voices with our attention. We need to do a mini visualization or do some somatics and connect with, I'm in my body, I'm here. These sensations are safe to experience, somatic tracking. And you want to stay in that positive pathway, redirect and stay in that pathway until you're starting to feel a little bit calmer. That it's just a click. You just want to get to a point where the intensity goes down a notch and you're like, okay, there might still be some revving or some dorsal action happening in the body. You might not feel entirely better, but there's a level to which you want to stay with it. And the amount of time you need to stay with it can vary from 2 minutes to 2 weeks, depending on the person, depending on the day and how activated we are. But you want to try to stay with that positive focus until you feel that notch down and you feel a bit more like, all right, I've taken back 10% of my attention from this loop I was stuck in, and now I can pay attention to what's in front of me. And maybe there's still some noise in the background. That's okay. But you've got some level of ability to engage with life again. And that's the point at which you know that you've successfully caught a pop. Your mental and emotional state are a little bit better, and there's that little bit of sense of clarity and awareness of what's going on. That means you successfully caught that loop and interrupted it, and you have made one significant step towards recovery. Love you guys.